Welcome to DHN. I'm your host, Wade Teamer. You clicked on this video because you want the latest Decentraland news, and that's what I'm going to give to you. We have Unilever getting into the metaverse, guys. We have a new Decentraland title. We also have ATMs coming to the metaverse, but what I want you to stick around for, okay? And this is big. If you're a fan of Decentraland, you need to know this information. Now, starting in September, Decentraland is going to be upgrading its SDK, and what that is going to mean for Decentraland is very important. So we're gonna save the best for last, but let's talk about Unilever, guys, because this is a fundamental development that will lay atop all of the other developments that Decentraland is going to do this year. Now, Unilever, the owner of everything, unveils Web3 Metaverse Initiative, guys. This is courtesy of Ledger Insights, one of my favorite crypto publications to read. If you don't have a list of crypto publications, add Ledger Insights, guys. But Unilever, how they're contributing to the metaverse. Well, they're coming with 3 separate brands, guys, and we're just gonna fast forward to those 3 brands. The first of which is Magnum, and we're not talking about that one. We're talking about the ice cream here, okay? The pregame to that. But Magnum's coming along, as well as Degree, the deodorant brand, and then we have Close Up. Now, these brands, you may or may not have heard of them, and that's really not the important piece to take away from this. The important piece to take away is what these brands are doing in the metaverse. For example, Magnum is bringing, the ice cream, is bringing food delivery services through a collaboration with Deliveroo, which is essentially DoorDash outside of the US, okay? But they're bringing food orders to the metaverse. So basically, you'll be able to do the same thing that you can do from your phone by ordering on Deliveroo, DoorDash, Uber Eats. You can now do this in the metaverse, okay? So that's one key element that we are going to see start a trend in the future as metaverse really goes mainstream. And I think it's going to be the next bull run when we see the metaverse really pop off, because it was during the last bull run, right at the peak, when we were close to the top, where the metaverse was announced in a way. Mark Zuckerberg kind of made that happen, and on this channel we were one of the first people on it. But food delivery in the metaverse. Now, next we have another interesting development. This is coming from Close Up, guys, and what they're allowing you to do in the metaverse is mint an NFT marriage certificate. Now, this is deep, okay? Taking out the context of how some of these marriages may come about, it's the technology here that you need to focus on. NFT marriage certificates on Decentraland, okay? Decentraland is still native to Ethereum. Hopefully in the future that might change, but as of right now, what we're looking at here is NFT documentation, verification of legal information on the blockchain, guys. It's just masked in this, City Hall of Love inside of a metaverse video game. But you still want to pay attention to the underlying technology that is coming forth from these things. And then lastly, guys, we mentioned deodorant brand Rexona is the parent company of Degree, something else that I learned, but they're coming with digital wearables. Now, wearables, I remember earlier in the year, Decentraland announced the updates to allow that to happen. So now to see a brand that's connected to Unilever, okay, basically this is a Unilever company starting to, participate in the development of that, that's going to be another big thing, guys. Now, if you're holding Decentraland, you want to hear this type of information. Unilever, like I said when I was reading the headline, literally owns everything. All right, BlackRock owns it all, but they own the rest. It's just like that. There's almost 4,000 plus companies under the Unilever brand. So that's going to be very big for Decentraland as far as commerce goes and long-term development, because it starts with these 3 companies, but now they have what will happen is they'll develop a social proof. Okay, and if you're impressing a company like Unilever, you're in a good position. And Decentraland has been in a great position all of 2022, guys, pulling in MasterCard, JP Morgan, Santander, Fidelity, Coca-Cola, Forever 21, Wrangler, Estee Lauder, list goes on. Everybody has their own, metaverse token. But from an institutional perspective, guys, the institutions have chosen either Decentraland or Sandbox. Okay, that's very important. Now, let's jump over to these other two stories, guys, because they're really short. Starting with this metaverse ATM, pretty much is exactly how it sounds. They're going to be ATMs in the Decentraland metaverse. Usually you have to use the Decentraland currency within inside the metaverse, but now with these ATMs, you will be able to exchange mana for other tokens or potentially use other tokens. And what I see this ultimately turning into, guys, is a situation where, because once we get to that big piece at the end about the SDK, it's gonna make sense, this scenario that I'm proposing to you. So in the future, Decentraland is going to be more compatible with other blockchain games. So you can imagine, let's just say another big brand, Axie Infinity. Okay, let's say they want to set up a station in Decentraland. With that ATM now there, what you can do is, if you want to participate in that Axie Infinity exclusive area, you can get Axies from the ATM. So that's going to be big, guys. Just the amount of development. It's been a while since I looked into Decentraland. It's still one of the coins that I like to pay attention to. I know it was anointed as the metaverse industry leader. Okay, when all of this stuff kicked off, we were right there. I'll link a video to one of the earliest metaverse videos that I did at the end of this. But metaverse ATM, that's going to boost interoperability, functionality, all of those things, guys. And then also we have a new title just announced yesterday, Decent Rally. It's a platform racing game. Not much has come from it yet. We just got 2 levels, but hey, these type of games, they really catch traction. They really catch traction after a while. And another thing I want you to remember, guys, is that we're still early in this metaverse thing, and the concentration I feel of these metaverse games are really focused at the next generation. Okay, which is not that far from reaching maturity. All right, these things happen fast. Take it from me, I know. But Decent Rally looks good, looks decent, if you will. But let's get to this main event, guys. Let's get to this manifesto, man. This came out July 28th. All right, so that's on me. I didn't get to this earlier, but let me just run down what this is going to improve. The new SDK is going to bring major improvements to usability, performance, and portability. Those are the 3 areas that the new SDK is going to improve. But what is that going to look like? Well, as far as usability is concerned, my favorite thing that I saw when reading this is easier multiplayer experiences. All right, so that means that we're gonna have some real MMORPG type action in Decentraland very soon. And multiplayer, I remember this from my time and being in gaming, when certain gaming titles kick on that multiplayer feature, that online multiplayer feature, it brings so much more attention. It brings so many more players into the game. So I can see the same thing happening here for Decentraland, guys. Now, next, something else that I'm very excited about is the Decentraland editor. All right, now as someone who uses multiple creative platform softwares, Canva, Adobe, all of the Wondershare, Filmora, right? I recognized right away what this is going to be. So the Decentraland editor, guys, is basically going to be a plug and play type of solution where you can just log in and build. Just that simple. Log in and build. So we're talking Roblox type functionality, or even Minecraft would probably be the better example of that. The Decentraland editor, and we have the roadmap, we're going to take a look at that, is going to take place later down the timeline, more so into 2023, but that's still something big to look forward to, guys. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, it deals with performance, okay? And we're talking about the use of static scenes. Now, if you're not familiar with that terminology, or you're not in the gaming sphere, I'm going to tell you what that means. You ever played a video game where there's an object in the distance and it looks fuzzy or even blocked out, or it may not even be there, right? Well, As that started to change in the gaming industry, it required the use of something called static scenes. Basically, what we're going to start seeing in Decentraland, and I remember this from playing a few times, how if you look off into the distance, it's just a blue screen there. It's like blue abyss, nothingness, right? But these static scenes, I'm going to read straight from this, they'll be built with the SDK 7 and will only load the main 3D models of a scene or low-res versions of them when a user is far away, and will wait to load dynamic content once a user gets close enough. This will really help with the optimization of the world, as it means that players will be able to experience a much larger visible area that feels more like a continuous world, while not requiring the platform to actually run the code for everything that's in sight. So this is going to do great for, like they mentioned, performance and usability at the same time, because now people don't have to have, you know, high-powered gaming computers to really play this game. That's going to bring in even more people. Now, let's jump to the roadmap, because there's something else that they mentioned that's coming in the next couple of months. The upgrade to the SDK is going to take place in September, all right? So next month. But in November, what we're going to have is the final SDK documentation, and it's going to establish Decentraland Protocol 1.0. This is going to be used as a reference for new clients and new technologies like Godot, the Unreal Engine, Unreal Tournament, those types of things, right? Standalone VR. Now this one, I remember reporting on this. I'll probably have that video pop up on a card, but they do have virtual reality being developed for Decentraland. It's in testing right now. It's still early. They're still in the early stages, but with the finalization of this SDK, guys, that's going to bring that one step closer. And then next, you can see here, getting into 2023 Q1 to Q2, it's gonna be all Decentraland editor. Okay, and I think this is gonna bring a lot of attention to Decentraland at the start of the year. So giving you some real game right here, guys. If you're holding Decentraland, there is a lot to look forward to. Okay, a whole lot to look forward to. But like I said, I'm gonna pass you off to my last Decentraland video, patent proof blockchains, about Tezos, Veracity, and Decentraland, and their patent proof technology and how it applies to the metaverse, blockchain, game, so forth and so on. So while you watch that, you know what I'm going to tell you. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. Stay out of the rain. And always remember, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see y'all in the next video.